Hello and welcome to Chapter 2, Activating an Entrepreneurial Mindset. So, in this chapter, we're going to talk about the entrepreneurial mindset. My background actually is one of my things that I focus on in my background is the entrepreneurial mindset. I am a certified practitioner of the entrepreneurial mindset profile. I am also a facilitator with the entrepreneurial mindset program with the Ice House program. I'll talk about the first one, the Entrepreneurial Mindset Profile. The EMP, short for the Entrepreneurial Mindset Profile, is an assessment tool that examines the skills and capabilities to drive growth and innovation. Looks at 7 personality skills and 7 skill skills. The Ice House, which is I'm a facilitator for the Entrepreneurial Mindset program on it, which is inspired by the book Who Owns the Ice House? 8 Life Sessions from an Unlikely Entrepreneur, is a companion to the program, which is an experiential problem-based learning program designed to inspire and engage participants with the determination and perseverance of an entrepreneurial mindset. So the entrepreneurial mindset is one of my top things to talk about when it comes to entrepreneurship. And as we talked about in chapter 1, if you go back and watch chapter 1, uh, there's more to entrepreneurship than just starting a business. You have to think like an entrepreneur and be like an entrepreneur and have that proper mindset. Right? It's all about the mindset, right? The right mindset is crucial to begin or develop a business. Um, Part of the practice to begin in the right mindset. You can't start a business or you can't be an entrepreneur without having the proper mindset. If you go into a business with a weak mindset, with not, uh, people will notice, and either people will take advantage of you or your business is not going to succeed. If you meet any successful entrepreneur in whatever industry it is, they have a completely great, amazing mindset for growth and for prosperity. It definitely is something that you need to be very wary about. Look at an example of Franklin Yacy's mindset. Motivated him to start his own business selling comfortable stadium seats for sporting events. Um, JC was in the right mindset to start a business because he saw a problem and needed to be fixed. And of course his experience, he had the confidence to take action by knocking on doors and gaining support for the idea. He believed enough himself to persist in his idea. Um, of course, it was definitely his mindset that kept him on track to make a successful business. So, of course, one of the things is about this example of Franklin Yacy's. Um, you have to have that proper mindset to succeed. And if you're asking yourself, what is a mindset? Right? A mindset is the established set of attitudes held by someone. Every single person has a mindset, right? It's established since birth, since growing up and raising in the environment that you're in, you start to build a mindset. It could be a negative mindset, it could be a positive mindset, it can be a mixture of both. But Carol Dweck's, if I'm saying it correctly, it says that there's 2 different mindsets, right? There is a fixed mindset and, of course, a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is the people who perceive their own talents and abilities as set traits and believes that brains and talents are enough for success to get to life with the goal of looking smart all the time, right? They take any constructive criticisms of their capabilities very personally, and they tend to attribute other successes to luck and unfair advantage. The growth mindset is the opposite of that fixed mindset, right? The growth mindset and believe that their ability, people who have a growth mindset believe that their abilities can be developed through dedication, effort, and hard work, and they think brains and talent are not enough for lifelong success, but merely a starting point. So a fixed mindset, you can look at it as someone who may have talents and be book smart, but they take things personally. They don't want to make themselves better. Any slight disrespect or not disrespect, but any slight um, criticism of them and a proper criticism they take personally, and they point the fingers at others. Growth mindset, on the other hand, they know that it just takes more than talent to become successful. That it takes hard work and dedication. And they want to make themselves better, right? Is it possible to learn and develop a growth mindset? Of course it is. It definitely is possible to have a growth mindset, but it's a difficult one. It's not easy. You have to readjust your mindset and work on it consistently. And of course, one needs to be aware of that voice in your head to take action, right? How many times have you sit in bed, fighting that inner voice of you not to go to the gym or not to work on that business idea or not to finish that essay assignment, right? You have to fight those voices inside your head to build a growth mindset. It takes action and even uncertain circumstances. It's not when you want to do it, it's how many times you do it. There have been, for example, for me, there's been numerous times where I don't even want to go to the gym, but I force myself in that inner voice of myself to go to the gym and work out. So it's because of that growth mindset. You have to build that within yourself. The entrepreneurial mindset, right, has the ability to alter one's way of thinking and to see endless possibilities. Um, an entrepreneurial mindset, they have a quick sense. It's the ability to quickly sense, take action, and get organized under uncertain conditions. Again, an entrepreneur does not know the conditions that will lay ahead. For example, prior to 2000, to the pandemic of 2020, um, how many times, or prior to the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, right, businesses were booming. And all of a sudden, the pandemic happened, and a lot of businesses closed because they couldn't, they could not just have quick action and take matters into their hands in the uncertain conditions that lay ahead. Now, there may have been other factors as well that played a role in their business shutting down when the pandemic happened. But one of the things is a successful business owner has an entrepreneurial mindset to have a quick sense, take action, and get organized. Um, Employs numerous cognitive strategies, of course, to identify opportunities, consider alternative options, and take action. Passion and entrepreneurship, right? Entrepreneur has an element of passion among many elements of the entrepreneur mindset. Passion is one thing, right? You have to have that deep passion for something. Passion is an intense positive emotion. Uh, in the context of entrepreneurship, it can be defined as an intense positive emotion related to entrepreneurs who are engaged in meaningful ventures or tasks and activities. Um, that passion within you to continue, um, to make yourself, uh, uh, you know, to make yourself grow. But there's also this functional side to passion, right? One thing is you have a passion for your business, and a lot of entrepreneurs have passion to see it grow. On the flip side, though, there is a dysfunction to the passion, right? That have you ever heard of find your passion? Is to people are less likely to try new things. So if you do find your passion and you fall in love with your passion, you're less likely to try new things. For example, if your passion is music and you like to play the saxophone, for example, and that's your passion, you're less likely to go try other things, right? If you have saxophone the other thing, you're less likely to maybe go play the drums or maybe start recording an album with your saxophone, learning how to record your saxophone, learning the business of making your passion a business. So develop your passion as a more effective means, right? Develop it as a means through a growth mindset to approach as perceiving in a particular area. Entrepreneurship as a habit. Anyone can develop an entrepreneurial mindset. Mindset is not a predisposed condition. Any of us can develop it, but how do we do it, right? So, how do we develop that entrepreneurial mindset? A good approach is to consider developing new habits. So, you have to have new habits. Uh, One of the ways is, of course, building that growth mindset and learning new things. If you're opposed to learning new things, if you are stuck in your old ways, as one would say, then it's going to be very hard to develop that entrepreneurial mindset. You have to be willing to try new things. For me, for example, I'm always trying new things learning new material, never shying away from learning what I can do tomorrow, right? And of course, good habits can be learned through habit loop, right? What that means is a process by which our brain decides whether or not a certain behavior should be stored or repeated. Um, so again, you learn through habits. It's very difficult to start a habit. Once you do it, it's very difficult to break, right? So that's the great thing about a habit. That's the flip side of it, right? It's difficult to start, but it's very difficult to start a habit. But once a habit starts, it's very difficult to break it. Um, the self-leadership habit. Self-leadership is a process by where people can influence and control their own behavior to build their entrepreneurial business venture. We look at three things, three strategies. The first one is behavior-focused strategies, which help increase self-awareness to manage behaviors when dealing with necessary but unpleasant tasks. Self-reward, self-punishment. Self-observation raises our awareness of how, when, and why we behave the way we do in certain circumstances. And of course, self-goal setting is a process of setting individual goals. Um, we can use our environment as a way to list our notes and construction behaviors. Um, and so construction through patterns helps us form positive, productive ways of thinking that can benefit our performance. The creative habits, the creativity habit. One of the things, as well as I have, of course, I'm certified. I'm certified innovator in the innovator mindset. It kind of goes in here with creativity. Creativity is the capacity to produce new ideas. Um, we like to define creativity as a capacity to produce new ideas, insights, inventions, products, or artistic objects. It's developed. Creativity is a developed skill, and that's something we are born with, right? We can all be creative in our own ways. We have to be open to it. Studies have shown that people who are creative are open to experience, persistent, adaptable, original, motivated, and self-reliant, and they don't fear failure. Um, so again, be open to creativity. Um, the personal creativity is higher in students who enroll in entrepreneurship programs, and it's definitely true because in order to succeed in the entrepreneurship programs, you have to be open to new things. You have to have being motivated, self-reliant, and persistent. Especially depending on the entrepreneurial program that you're in, you may have to create a business plan, write a business plan, and that, of course, is going to, um, you know, going to make you have to be adaptable and learn new things. The fear factor, 6 roadblocks that prevent us from practicing creativity are these things: fear, not appetite for chaos, deciphering and getting ideas, perceiving lack of challenge, preference for judging over generating ideas. You have to generate ideas and stop judging ideas. And a creative mind. Um, the creative mind is reflected in our biology. The importance of creativity is necessary in navigating uncharted waters. Personality types, right? Research proposed that each of the 2 hemispheres in our brains have its own direct thinking and emotional functions, the left brain and the right brain. So thinking about that, uh, how we think with our mindsets has to deal with, of course, um, how we think about it as a society. The improvisation habit, the art of spontaneously creating something without preparation. Um, there's always going to be some type of obstacle or some type of circumstances, and we're going to have to adapt to it quickly. For example, you know, the pandemic brought new circumstances that we had to adapt to, whether it was online services, apps that made online ordering. Businesses and individuals had to adapt to the new reality, and if you're able to adapt to it, you're able to succeed. So you have to find a quick way to adapt to circumstances that arise that are out of your control. Major business schools offer courses, improvisation to teach. So find new ways to quickly adapt to circumstances. So, throughout your journey in the program or degree or whatever you're doing, find ways to adapt to different circumstances that may arise in your life or your career. Um, Here are some guidelines that you can find in the book. Improvisation guidelines. Um, there's no such thing as right. Have you ever heard of improv, right? As in acting, as in theater, for those of you who are theater majors, know what improv is, right? It's sitting down uh, and, of course, just improving, making it up as you go, listening and just going with the flow. Um, there's no suggestions, there's no script. You're just going with, you're reading the room and you're going with the flow of it. And it's about being spontaneous, imaginative, be creative, listening closely, and accepting what's given to you. The improvisation habit, people who engage in improvisation are more tolerant of failure. One of the things about in improv is you're going to fail, and if you're open to it or you're open to changes, you're going to more likely succeed. Um, because it challenges your brains, it challenges your brain to come up with new ideas and to challenge yourself. The mindset is a pathway to action. There is no entrepreneurship without action, and the mindset is antecedent to action, right? In entrepreneurship, it's all about action. Nothing gets done without action. No new venture, product, organization, or anything else without a mindset with the bias toward action. Again, there is no business, there is no venture, there is nothing without action. Um, and of course, mindset as a pathway to action. Uh, Increasing number of studies on entrepreneurial self-advocacy. There have been an increasing number of studies in this. Believe that entrepreneurs have the ability to begin new ventures because of how effective they are in just being self-advocate and of course more effectively confront demands or stressors and thus improve entrepreneurial performance. They have that self-confidence, self-advocacy, and arrogance in a sense um, to believe in themselves, right? They have tremendous belief in themselves. They have self-confidence. An entrepreneur, any successful entrepreneur you meet is going to have amazing self-confidence in themselves because they need it. They've had to build that in order to push through to the circumstances that rely on entrepreneurship. And as we wrap up here, just looking at the general self-advocacy scale, to look at these, right? And then you can answer it themselves and see where you fall into it. The mindset as a pathway to action here, the last slide. The role of mindset and opportunity recognition. Growth mindset is the key to successful entrepreneurship. You have to continuously grow. You have to continuously be open to challenges, open to criticism. And that's what the growth mindset is. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you want to be able to successfully open up a company, you have to build that growth mindset. Before you actually launch your business, I would suggest you build a growing mindset. Because if you don't, you're going to have a difficult time getting through the circumstances that rely as an entrepreneur. And that is it for chapter 2.